Wheels all day. Slovenia moving up now. That team has got Gregor Bol, Borut Buzic, Jani Brakovic, Jura Kojan, Christian Koren and Goran Stengel. The Slovenian team in the lime green and blue colours over on the right-hand side of the
Okay,
picture.
so this is not a race.
Now,
it's going to be a nice, steady climb up mountain.
Apologises to Andreas Clear, and Andreas will just, in his own way, have a chat, and then Ben King will get on with doing his work. Thanks for joining us for these World Road Race Championships. 6 riders on the attack. We lost Christian Poos. We now have Iglinski and Kangat, Shudza, Roux, Lastras and Kizilowski being chased down at around about 2 minutes 39 seconds by Simon Clark, Johan van Someren, Luca Paolini, Oliver Kaizen and Johan Ofredo. The peloton are at 3 minutes 32 seconds now. And this attack of Simon Clark has taken the pressure totally off the squad of Baden Cook, Simon Gerrans, Matthew Goss, Heinrich Hausler, Matt Heyman, Stuart O'Grady, Michael Rogers and Chris Sutton. Paolini has now taken the pressure off Benati, Gavazzi, Modolo, Os, Quinziato, Zuzzato, Visconti and Viviani. Some good riding here by these squads. Approaching the line for the next time, this 6-man breakaway led by Iglinski. 6 laps to go that time. Still, this breakaway isn't looking too tired. Their average speed 45.211 kilometers an hour. Chris Froome of Great Britain on the front. There's a massive amount of work being done here by Great Britain and Germany to try and bring this back together. As we see the chasing group now into the finishing straight again, and they will be given 6 laps to go this time. Johan van Someren, a great performance from him as Oliver Kaizen goes through. Look Paolini animated, asked for a bottle. Kaizen on the front. The tactics of the Belgians looking good. Paolini takes another drink as well, making sure that he's got as much energy as possible. 6 riders on the attack, 5 riders chasing. And the atmosphere building all the time now as people bang the boards. It's about 10 deep now in the finishing straight. And we really do have a bike race on. Leading across the line this time. At 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Things are being squeezed a little bit. The interesting point will be where the peloton are. And what situation they find themselves in terms of the time gap. The average speed, 45.211. As we look now at the peloton, this is starting to close up a little bit. With 6 laps to go. And the peloton making their way up towards the line. And now we have another attack. And this is the tactics of the Italians and the Belgians, which is basically, we ain't going to let this be controlled, and we are going to rip it up. Visconti goes on the attack now, and it's all stretched out. Visconti absolutely charging away from the line now to try and break the will of the rest of these riders. Look at this. Immediately, it's Martin Kohler of Switzerland who goes with him. Gavazzi, Gerrans is also up there. The Vitti of Spain, Talinghi, Ben King. Suddenly, the Germans and the British are not represented towards the front of the group. The gap is now 2 minutes and 55 seconds from the front of the race. This is going to be a pretty thrilling finish to this World Championships. The Italians know and the Belgians know that if they drag this to a finish, then the Norwegians and the British and the Germans will be very, very happy. So they're not going to let it happen. And look at this, Simon Gerrans is absolutely flying on the front of this group. The rider who currently rides for Team Sky and will now be moving to Green Edge. All lined out now. As they look like they're bringing this back together, so the chase is certainly on. Looks like this leading group, you can see the pace is considerably slower than the chasing group, who are absolutely now firing on all cylinders. As Tim said when he came in earlier, it just gets faster and faster and faster. And now more teams are represented at the front as the Italians go on the attack again. Bettini using his way of riding, which was always an attacking style to try and rip this race up. But Britain now bring this race back together. So does Gerrans moves to the right-hand side of the road. The right-hand side of the picture, the left-hand side of the road. And his current Team Sky teammates don't even give him a glance. Well, that was a thrilling few moments. This is the chasing group who are still in the gap. Van Summeren on the front, working extremely hard now. Paolini, Alfredo, Clark and Kaizen. Kaizen is giving this as much as he possibly can. Great Britain on the front again with Chris Froome. This guy has ridden on the front for hours and given this as much as he possibly can to try and bring this title home for Mark Cavendish. Ben King is up there for the United States of America. But this is the chasing group, who are now at 1 minute 44 seconds as they go through that time split. So the state of play for you all watching these World Road Race Championships. Tangat, Schutzer, Roux, Lastras, Iglinski and Kieselowski. 1 minute 44 seconds ahead of Simon Clark, Olivia Kaizen, Luca Paolini, Johan van Summeren and Johan Alfredo. The peloton now are chasing this one down. And they're going to be around about the 2 minute mark by the looks of things. 2 minutes 24 seconds is the advantage. And it is a train led by Great Britain. No longer we have Andreas Clear and Bert Grabsch up there. Peloton are bringing this back now. It is, 1:44 from the leading group to the chasers, 2:24. So 40 seconds now, the difference between the chasing group and the peloton. It is closing all the time. One rider is down, and that is sitting on the road is Belkadri of France. That looks pretty sore. He's gone under the barriers, but he's moving around and he'll get back up.
Take a quick stand up.
It's going to take a little bit of time for these riders to get organised. Oh, Frank Schleck has been held up as well, as has, I think, Tyler Farrar. Oh, there's more riders here. Farrar is down. And there's a couple more riders who are in the hedge. So, Frank Schleck, Tyler Farrar. Who else is down here? We'll double check. I'm not sure that Gilbert isn't, but we'll have a look. But let's have a little look in a second. I think Gilbert is there. Gilbert is there. Let's just check it. No, it isn't. It isn't Gilbert. It is. It looked like it was Gilbert who was trying to get his bike sorted out. Well, there's a few riders down. It was Van Avermaet who had crashed. Well, they've obviously there's obviously been a touch of wheels. I mean, Frank Schleck is still standing either side of the road. There's one rider in the hedge. Michael Barry is also there. But it's just people get more and more tired. Looks like Frank Schleck's finished. He shakes his head. Frank Schleck's World Championships is over. Haven't mentioned him all day, apart from one puncture, but Schleck now says, no, I'm not continuing, that's it. Michael Barry also is out, so is Belkadri. And we're hearing that the defending champion Hushoff is also out of the back. So we'll catch up on things. Well, I just want to welcome our Canadian viewers on Rogers Sportsnet. A warm welcome to the World Championships. I'll just update you on exactly what's been going on for the benefit of you and everybody else who's watching. We have a breakaway group of riders in this World Championship. Anthony Roux of France, Tanel Kanget of Estonia, Pablo Lastras of Spain, Oleg Shudza of the Ukraine, Maxim Iglinski of Kazakhstan and Robert Kiselovsky of Croatia. They have a 1 minute and 2 second advantage on Johan van Summeren of Belgium, Luca Paolini of Italy, Simon Clark of Australia, Olivia Kaizen of Belgium and Johan Alfredo of France. The peloton are being led and have been being led by Germany and France and one rider from the United States, Ben King, for probably about the last 2 hours. The gap to them is around about now 2 minutes 20 seconds. In fact, now it's 1 minute 49. And we've just had a crash which has caused Tyler Farrar, Frank Schleck, Greg Van Avermaet, Michael Barry, Bilal Kadri to be standing at the side of the road. Thor Hushoff apparently also has been held up by this crash as well, but we'll see whether he gets back on. But the tactics are interesting. The Belgians want to break this race up, and that's why Van Summeren and Kaizen are in here. So do the Italians, and Great Britain and Germany want it to be a sprint. And this is the big group of riders who have been left behind. And it contains Tony Martin, who's also in here. So Tony Martin is in this group. We'll have a little look through. There are many, many riders out the back, and Great Britain aren't going to wait for them. Neither are Germany, although Martin is in here. But their game really is about John Degenkolb. And these guys are 2 minutes and 58 seconds down. Just looking to see who else is in this group. It's a big bunch of riders who have been tailed off by that crash in one of the narrow bits of road. Frank Schleck is now back on his bike, but I'm not sure he'll ever get back on. This is an important part of this race. This is the leading group, have been on the attack for most of the day today, if you have only just joined us. Originally, Poos of Luxembourg was also in here, but he was dropped. The main animator in that leading group was Shudza of the Ukraine. He was desperate to get on the attack early doors, and that's what he did. Their maximum advantage went out to 8 minutes and 5 seconds, and now slowly but surely they're being reeled in. But this chasing group is not making the headway that they've made a fair amount of headway, but actually their gap between them and the chasers, this peloton, is not considerable enough. It hasn't really grown. Ben King is doing a lot of work on the front, and the rest of the Great Britain team lined up behind, as are Australia, who are ready to pounce as soon as any junction is made. But a great performance from Simon Clark of Australia. It's a much smaller peloton now, and these guys are not going to wait. Can see Nick Noynes over there on the left-hand side, who's glancing around and realises that there are certainly a lot less riders here. Hearing on Radio Tour that Thor Hushoff's group is at 50 seconds behind his peloton. Will he ever get back on, is the question. I don't know why Ben King is now still working, because I think he probably doesn't even realise that Tyler Farrar is out of the back. So there is a group off the back here of the bunch, the main peloton at 1:49. Just looking my way through the groups to update you and see what is going on. I think there's a gap back to the next group on the road, which is about 50 seconds. There's a group at 2:51, another minute behind the group led by Great Britain, and in that group are the following riders. Let's just run through some of the names. Louis Leon Sanchez is definitely in there. Julian Dean of New Zealand is in that group. Greg Henderson, Andreas Clear, who's doing a lot of the work earlier on. Also in that group is Milokovic. Iran is in there too. So is Svein Tuft and Bernard Eisel. Then there's a group at 3 minutes with Jack Bauer. Thor Hushoff is 3 minutes and 10 seconds down as things stand. So there is a bit of carnage now in this group. This race is proving to be very interesting. As Rob Hale said to us earlier on today, these roads are narrow and they look on camera. And we went around them in the car earlier on, and they definitely are. There is no doubt at all about it. And some of these corners do cause a problem, so you have to ride near the front. And I don't know, Ben King probably doesn't realise that Tyler Farrar is not in this group. The leading group now has been caught by the group of Simon Clark. So now we have this leading group of 11 riders. We'll see what the time check is as they make their way up here this time with 5 laps to go in the World Championships. The tactics that are being played out have been very, very interesting. Now we get the counter-attacks happening, and it's the Netherlands who are trying to go on the attack now at the front. They'd be probably happy with a springboard kind of breakaway group. They don't want things to play into the hands of Great Britain with Mark Cavendish. 5 laps to go. The gap is short. It's only about a minute. The first rider across the line that time was the Dutch rider. Peter Wiening goes on the attack, and then Great Britain all lined out with the Australians also in there, and it's a much smaller peloton who are trying to bring back this leading group of riders. Also in there is, at the back is Wouter Poels of the Netherlands. So it's a group now of around about 122 riders. So we've got 11 riders in a leading group and 111 riders in the peloton. The rest are out the back of the race now. Well, we'll have a look now to see the next group on the road, and I'll try and, as they go under the commentary box, I'll pick some of the riders out, but they are a long way down. Jack Bauer is in that group for New Zealand. Thor Hushoff is also in that group now, and they must be around about a minute behind the main peloton. There's a lot of chasing going on. It is 1:04 to the main peloton. And 2 minutes to the group containing Hushoff. I don't think Tyler Farrar is in that group at all. which means the tactics of the Americans now are a bit interesting. There is the group of the New Zealander Jack Bauer in it, and they are dropping away. They're not closing this gap at all. 2 minutes and
it should be about an hour
over 2.5 minutes. And it looks to me like the chances of Hushoff defending his world title have disappeared in a crash.
So what I need to focus on now is to not allow Piper to get too far ahead.
Kurt Arzel-Arvidsson sitting on the back of the peloton. He is in this group. Matt Goss we could see just in front of him, not too far. And Arvidsson has been looking around to see whether there's anyone there. The question for me is whether Tyler Farrar is in this group, because the Americans are doing a massive amount of work. And they'll be very happy, the Americans, the British, to let an American rider sit on the front and do this amount of work. He doesn't have to. There's Quinziato of Italy. Quinziato riding alongside the car with Paolo Bettini in it. And back to the front with Paolini. Looking strong is Paolini, powerful rider, good in a breakaway. Lastras, who's been there all day. Stage winner in the Grand Tours. Johan van Someren, a winner of Paris-Roubaix, a great domestique. Rides for Garmin Cervelo, used to ride for De Vitamin Lotto. He's a man you definitely want with you if you're trying to keep things going like this. The original breakaway is Glinsky there of Kazakhstan in the turquoise colours. Kizilowski in the red and white of Croatia. And the man at the back from Australia, Simon Clark. Great Britain all on the front with a sandwich filling of the rider from the United States of America there in the luminous yellow helmet and shades. And now some more conversations going on. And it's Arvidsson who's having a chat to the British riders. And of course he rides for Team Sky, so he knows many of them. But they ain't going to let Thor Hushoff come back. There is no possibility that they're going to allow the defending champion to come back to them. They've got the race how they want it. This time round, we're going to get 4 laps to go in the World Championship. We are 4.5 hours of racing covered, and the average speed still over 45 kilometers an hour. It's a thrilling race. The crowd are building an incredible atmosphere. It is pretty special here in Rudersdal, 20 kilometers north of Copenhagen. Jeremy Hunt, and now another attack, and this is this time Anders Lund of Denmark, who goes on the attack after 207.2 kilometers. Anders Lund, of course, a very, very good bike rider from Denmark, who, as I think, just thinking through his palmarès, won the under-23 Liège-Bastogne-Liège in the past. And now the counter-attacks are starting to happen, and the Belgians are up there in numbers. This is the chasing group with Jack Bauer in it. Julian Dean, Thor Hushoff, Tony Martin, Christian Knies, all in this group of riders. At the front for Denmark, the Irishman now goes across. Looked to me like it might be Dan Martin who sneaked in here as well. So suddenly this race is looking a little bit different. Just to update you then, the gap to the leading group is 1:30. The gap then to the Hushoff group is 2:25. They're not giving up. They are closing it a teeny little bit. 55 seconds. And now we have another group on the move. And they just don't want to let the British team sit on the front like this. So just to recap for you, the state of play on the road, 11 leaders in this World Championship, tracked by the peloton at 1:30 and a group containing Thor Hushoff, the defending champion, at 2:25. They were held up by a crash that's taken out Frank Schleck. But now the chasing group, being led by Baden Cook of Australia. And the Aussies have got 2 riders in here. Gerrans is also in here. Gerrans he's been trying to get away all day. Well, maybe not all day, that might be an over-exaggeration. He's been trying to get away for 3 laps for sure. It's a kind of lumpy, kind of jump-away course for Gerrans. If he can get in a move, he could certainly do something at the finish. Morkov sitting on the back, now another reaction. And certainly a big move here from Dan Martin of Ireland. Dan Martin moves across to the right-hand side, and Great Britain tried to tow this back. Nick Noyens of Belgium now goes to the front. What a group this is. Noyens, Cook, Dan Martin, Simon Gerrans. It is proving to be a rapid race, and it is just about who's going to hold on and have the legs. Great Britain towing this back with Jeremy Hunt on the front, but there are just splits all over the place. Looks like David Miller now on the front as they all track the wheels. There are gaps everywhere. It's such a rapid pace, and the attacks are going every single time over the top of the climb, which kind of says that Mark Cavendish is going to have some pretty supreme legs to be able to get there. Great Britain tow this back, and the man on the front in the green and white, Dan Martin, who of course decided to become an Irish rider because he had Irish nationality, and of course could have ridden for Great Britain. Before the British performance plan happened, Martin wanted to ride for Great Britain. He had a little bit of a disagreement, and they really said they weren't going to invest in the road at that period of time, and Dan Martin said, well, if that's how you're going to be, I'll go and ride for Ireland. That's what he's done, and now he's dishing it out to the Brits as they go on the attack, but he knows them all so well. His dad, Neil Martin, one of the top professional bike riders in Great Britain for many, many years. And Dan Martin's mum is Stephen Roach's sister. So he is the cousin of Nicholas Roach as well. And now him and Nicholas ride together in the Irish squad with Matt Bramier. Great Britain go back to the front and continue with the work they've been doing. The question is whether this chasing group is going to get back. Chris Froome is desperately trying to hold on at the back. Radio Tour just telling me the gap is 56 seconds now. standing still on the front. Jeremy Hunt in second place. They haven't half-time trialled this today. David Miller there. 11 riders in the leading group. The rest of these teams have had to do no work whatsoever. They've done absolutely no work on the front. They haven't had to. Great Britain has put themselves in this position, which is we're going to ride on the front and you can all sit there, because our plan is that we are going to take Mark Cavendish to the finish. 212.5 kilometres of this World Championship have been completed now. The total race distance 266. 4 laps of 14 kilometres to be completed. And Britain have only lost one rider, and that's Chris Froome, who is sitting on the back of this group, trying somehow to recover. This is the group that contains Thor Hushoff, and it looks like this race is going to be over for them. I don't want to write them off too early, but you look at the time, the peloton went through at 57 seconds. Tony Martin sitting in second place, and they're going to come through now, and the gap is going to be 2:22. So it looks like about 2 minutes 25 seconds is the, or 1 minute 25 is the deficit, and it's going out. Great Britain all on the front, and now I think the Americans have realised that Tyler Farrar isn't in there. It's an interesting race, this one, as we run through the group at 2:22. Some big names in there. Sweetsoff also is in that group with Hushoff. And now the gap drops to 57 seconds, and Great Britain are pretty happy with that, but the problem they've got is letting that group behind them come back. They need to keep the pressure on. He's being led pretty much all the time by Great Britain. They are 1 minute and 2 seconds behind. And then Thor Hushoff is in a group at 1 minute and 43. Now we get another attack from Switzerland with Albacini. Albacini, who will also ride for Green Edge next year, goes on the attack over the top of this climb and makes a massive move. That was a big attack. They just want to soften things up. Constant hammer blows to the British, German teams. Thomas Lofquist also in that move. That is Michael Rogers, but then the rest of the group led by Great Britain. Interestingly, Lofquist of Team Sky as well. So Lofquist going over the top of this climb and putting in a massive turn. Lofquist in the blue and yellow, followed by the man who made the move, Albacini, tracking him. One Belgian rider. We've also got a load of other nationalities represented in this group. We can just see the camera will show us who else is in there. Rui Costa of Portugal, Bjorn Lukemans and Michael Rogers, with Nick Noyens in this group. Most of the British team, Team Sky, but here Lofquist and Rogers also of Team Sky. Rogers looks around, he looks pretty confident. And it It's closing up. 42 seconds now, the deficit. What a race this is. It's been non-stop from the start. You've had the breakaway group and you've just had things happening constantly.
Look where I am now in the route turn. Got over conflict control. This stuff here. All these riders do these superhuman efforts.
Well, thanks to all of you for watching us here on the World Road Race Championships. We're going to carry you all the way through now to the conclusion of this race. And we'll see who brings home the title. Which country? This is the chasing group with Lofquist on the left-hand side in the blue and yellow of Sweden. Michael Rogers looking pretty good in here for Australia. Bearing in mind Simon Clark, who currently rides for Astana, moving to Green Edge, is in that leading group. So Rogers can use the remote control. He doesn't have to do 1 ounce of work.
Put down to a small ring. Sit down.
A lot of riders now have retired as well. Just run through a few of them for you. Bert Grabsch, Andrew Talansky, who was in the early breakaway. Frank Schleck has also gone. Leonardo Duque is retired, as has Stefan Dennefield, Michael Barry, and Roman Kreuziger, of course, didn't start. Quite a few riders now have dropped out of this World Championship. The riders that are left, Lofquist looking pretty strong here. The last 2 laps have been run off at 49 kilometers an hour and 46, nearly 46.5 kilometers an hour. This is the chasing group. Chasing group with Albacini, Rui Costa,
23.
and Noyens. Noyens is a danger man in here. There's no doubt about it. This is exactly what he would want. Number 7 at the back there. So Great Britain tow the peloton back to this group. It's all been about riding like a team time trial. The Dutch have done very little today. Lars Boom is in here. So is Johnny Huberland. Now we get another attack for Denmark, and the crowd go particularly mad this time. Lars back on the attack now. Just pedalling away, and on the front of the bunch is David Miller. Lars back, a teammate, of course, of Mark Cavendish, goes on the attack now as we look at this leading group being led by the Australian Simon Clark. They're looking a bit ragged now. And Simon Clark's decided, right, we've got to get a little bit more pace in here. And Great Britain won't want to catch this too early. Lars back looks around and sees a little bit of an advantage for him, for Denmark, as he is edged on by the crowd at the side of the road, seeing the red and white colours of the day. Perfect moment for Denmark. And still Great Britain sit on the front, and they have done for the entire race. They let the gap go out to 8 minutes and 5 seconds, and then ever since they have been on the front. Sitting on the back of the group here, number 42, Stephen Cummings of Great Britain. Done a massive amount of work, and he'll just see if he can recover and see if he can help out again. But Lars back, an impressive performance, looking strong, tapping out a rhythm. Now we get an attack at the front from the leading group, and it is Kieselowski and the Frenchman going with him. Still Alfredo persists with this attack, the Frenchman. Seeing alongside me to the left-hand side, Jackie Durand and Jean-Francois Bernard, who are enjoying this one. He goes past some barriers that have been, that are almost glistening the red, white and blue, as we see now an attack from Ukraine, and this is the man who started the original move. This is Schutzer. What a day this man's having. Alfredo hanging on at the front, clicking his way through the gears, and everyone who says this circuit is flat, these riders will be telling you otherwise. Rolling roads, sun is out, hot day, tiring, wearing down circuit, where you just have to just try and hold on to the wheel, because it's just been so quick. The fastest lap so far is the 13th lap. The opening lap of 8:12, followed by 8:18. The 13th lap was 17 minutes and 8 seconds. The 14th lap was 18 minutes and 7 seconds. That was the second fastest lap of the World Road Race Championships. Just shows you the difference. They're just turning the screw all the time as they go up and not a rise. And for the first time, Great Britain are no longer there. Norway come to the front. They've obviously decided to maybe ride for Bosenhagen if he's there. Bosenhagen is in here, so they've decided now to play another card. And they're all over the place here as Alfredo goes up the road and is still away. Here come the peloton. Lars back is not far behind them, behind this chasing group. Here they are. As they look round, there is Lars back in the red and white, and not far behind them as we hit the finishing straight. Look how much that rises up. Earlier on it looked relatively flat, now it looks like a proper hill. Lars back. I'm pretty sure this is Anthony Roux actually who's on the attack, but we'll have a little look as he goes across the line. This time round they're going to get 2 laps to go in the World Road Race Championships. The question now is whether all the work that has been done by Great Britain is going to prove worthwhile with 2 laps to go. 5 hours, 6 minutes of racing. Anthony Roux is the rider on the attack. I thought the caption was wrong. And Lars Peter Nordum next to me says it is. Can you hear yourself? It's so loud. The noise is absolutely incredible. Here we go, Lars back. Well, he's pulling some faces. But the Danish fans are going to break the boards at the side of the road. They're going completely and utterly nuts. He's 28 seconds from the lead. Anthony Roux on the attack. Schutzer is there. Van Summeren looks like he's blown completely. His legs have gone. And then it's about the chasing group with Norway and Great Britain. And there's some faces being pulled now at the front of this group. And Great Britain now still have 5 riders near the front. 2 laps to go. Great Britain gets some help for the first time in this race since, I don't know, about 4 laps ago when Germany lost Andreas Clear. Let's just run through some names for you. As Anthony Roux continues with his attack, he's got 14 seconds advantage. So the riders who are towards the front of the chasing group, the peloton. The race situation is Roux on the attack, followed by that group at 14 seconds. Lars Bak is at 28. Van Summeren's legs have just blitzed themselves. He's now at 34. Gabriel Rasch leads the peloton with Kurt Arzel-Arversen, Jeremy Hunt, Brad Wiggins, Juan Antonio Fleischer, Chris Sutton, Baden Cook. Matt Goss is up there now for the first time. Martin Kohler, Mark Cavendish, David Miller, Ignatius Konovalovas, Geraint Thomas, Ian Stannard, Martin Velets, Fabian Cancellara, Edvald Bosenhagen, O'Grady's there, Albacini, Lars Boom, Thomas Volkler, Taylor Finney, Peter Sagan. It is about 120 riders now in with a shout of winning this world title. 20 seconds to the chasers for Anthony Roux, the Frenchman. What a performance he's been putting in today. He's been on the attack for, he was part of that original breakaway. Simon Clark putting in a great performance for the Australian squad, but Norway are working hard now. And it's bye-bye to Van Summeren, who can't even stay now with the peloton, his legs completely given out. Anthony Roux, the leader of the World Road Race Championships, who rides, of course, for FDJ. He's had a good year. He won the Sarthe Pays de Loire. He won the general classification in that. He was second in the Road Race Championships of France. He won the Duo Normand just a few weeks ago. He has, of course, in 2009, won a stage of the Vuelta a España, and he also won the was second in the Espoirs Liège-Bastogne-Liège when he was noticed before he turned professional for Francais de Jure. So these kind of rolling roads he's probably going to like. Lars Bak desperately trying to get himself to the front of this race. It's an impressive performance from the Danish rider on home turf. Roux now just cruising along, pulling faces, grimacing, but putting in a great performance. The second rider on the road is the Australian Simon Geraint, who's in a massive gear. Look at this. Geraint. Chris Sutton's lead. This is a big, big move. It does look like Chris Sutton to me who's gone, and I'd be surprised about that. because you would expect Sutton to do something in the sprint, but maybe he's decided that he wants to try things a different way. Some brilliant racing going on. Suddenly this race is all about to come back together. Squeezing gels in like there's no tomorrow. And Anthony Roux, 21.5 kilometres to go to the finish. 10 seconds. He is going to get reeled in. And the Australian Sutton, and there's a bit of hand gesturing going on by the Aussies who say, get off the front now, we need you back here, because their plan is going to be to lead out Matt Goss. This is the group of Hushoff. His day and his time as the world champion is over. And now we get a counter-attack, and it's Martin Tilingi of the Netherlands. Again tracked by Great Britain. Tilingi with that familiar stamping style as he tries to cruise across, but it's not going to happen. Because with 1 lap to go, this race is going to be closed totally. And a bit of stretching going on at the back from Mart Ojevi of Estonia. But just look at that, David Miller on the front for Great Britain, just towing himself back up to Tilingi, and they're just going to let Anthony Roux stay there. They're not worried at all. What a race. This man's time in the lead, he's getting some good TV time, but it's not really going to happen as far as staying out there is concerned. So the French are going to have to look for another card, and they've played quite a few of them. Tilingi's still going away for the Netherlands. The first real time we've seen the Netherlands do anything apart from Peter Wiening. But they should still have in here Lars Boom, who I haven't seen all day. But it's a team time trial. Look at Cavendish in that black helmet sitting at the back of the group. Visconti chases across to Tilingi. David Miller, hands in the middle of the bars, looking relaxed. And Roux, with 240.5 kilometres completed, looks around, and for the first time in a few hours is going to see the peloton. 5 hours, 17 minutes and 3 seconds. Visconti goes through. Miller is there, Stannard, Thomas, Cavendish, Volker is up near the front, Bosenhagen, Fredo is still there. Barredo, number 14 through. And now we get Volker going on the attack for France. Look at this. Well, he wore the yellow jersey in the Tour de France. And now he shouts to Anthony Roux and says, give me a springboard if you can. There we go, onto the wheel, but he hasn't got the legs, he just can't. He shakes his head. Here goes Thomas Volker of France, who goes on the attack now. And French are going completely and utterly loopy right here, right now. They know Volker has been sitting in the middle of the group, and now he makes a massive move. And the gap starts to open for Thomas Volker with 3 riders going away. And the fans who watched the Tour de France this year, they recognise him immediately. He's got such a massive following, Thomas Volker, but the entire British team back on the front. Sucking in the oxygen, going with him is another of the Norwegian, the Danish team. Immediately onto the wheel. This is a very impressive move, but Great Britain again are trying to tow things back if they possibly can. to walk off of Volkler. Volkler looking, he's so animated. He's got the French tricolour all over that bike of his. He looks round again and he desperately wants to see if he can pull this out. Could be Kevin de Vert, I think, who is with him. Nicky Sorensen on his home roads. And now it's about this time trial which continues. As Wiggins, Miller, Stannard, Thomas and Cavendish head the front of this peloton. Wiggins time trialing so quickly as Thomas gives David Miller a shove. Who is going to win the World Championships of 2011? This is one absolutely amazing bike race. Well, we run through the names that are in this peloton now as they go zipping their way through the right-hander. It's Thomas Volkler, Nicky Sorensen, Klaas Ludovic in the top three. In the peloton looking for the win, Mark Cavendish. Also in this group, Bosenhagen. Matt Goss is in here. Tyler Ferrara of the United States of America. But then you've got riders who might outwit everybody else. Sylvain Chavanel is also in here as well. We are about to be treated to a real treat. That lap was 17 minutes and 44 seconds, an average speed of 47.368 kilometers an hour. It is the second fastest lap of this race. Ludovic holding on. Volkler in second place. Nicky Sorensen in third place. Can you imagine if a Dane wins the World Championships? The last three times, the only three times the World Championships have been held in Copenhagen, three times Belgians have won the race. Rick van Steenbergen on two occasions. And Eloy Muhlenberg was the other winner of the world title in Denmark. Cavendish sitting now, and he has to deliver. The amount of pressure on his shoulders must be absolutely immense, because he has asked the British team to ride on the front the entire way, and for him to bring home a victory at the top of this climb. Number 88 dropping out of the race now. Anthony Roux. Give him a round of applause, because that's been an absolutely stunning performance. He's been out in the lead all day. Volkler, his body absolutely etched in pain as David Miller sits on the front with Brad Wiggins, the Olympic track champion. David Miller, great time trialist. Wiggins has already won the silver medal in the World Time Trial Championships, and he's still there at the end of the road race. Many people thought that he wouldn't have a chance of lasting halfway, but Wiggins is putting in a great performance as he swings left and right and gives some riders some pain. 249.2 kilometres, and a Dutchman now on the attack and chasing hard. Hugeland, the man of the barbed wire, is now going on the attack. Johnny Hugeland of the Netherlands trying to go across now to the three leaders. Look at Hugeland go. Johnny Hugeland is now attacking. He's one of the toughest bike riders in world racing. In fact, you would say he's probably the toughest rider in world racing right now. How did he ride to the end of the Tour de France with the damage that he had? Ludovic, Sorensen and Volkler holding on. Johnny Hugeland of the Netherlands trying to go across. Who do you think's going to win this one? Thanks for all the Twitter messages today. It's a long old 6 hours in the commentary box, but every single minute's been worth it. Ludovic holding on at the front, trying to make this race hard as they run in towards the finish. For Philippe Gilbert, but Johnny Hoogeland, who course rides for Vacon Soleil, ripping it across to the leaders now. 4 riders now at the front of the World Road Race Championships. Bradley Wiggins leading the chase. It's almost a British team pursuit squad on the front. There they are, with Wiggins, Stannard, Thomas and Cavendish being tracked by the Australians. When have you ever seen a World Championship road race carried out like this? Ludovic looks around. Volkler says, come on. Sorensen, Volkler shakes his head and says no. Sorensen wants a little bit more help. So he goes to the front, nods at Ludovic, says, come on, we can do this. But Wiggins, look at the speed of this man. 10 kilometres to go in the World Road Race Championships, the race situation. Hoogeland now attacks the leading group. Volkler goes with him. Sorensen also onto the wheel. And now the train is being led by the red, white and blue of Great Britain. But Hoogeland's trying to break this race up as he goes up the next little rise. Past the Danish flag for Nicky Sorensen at the side of the road. And somehow Great Britain are still bringing this race back together, but I think Wiggins has left all his energy now on the road. Only 3 riders left. We've seen so many trains go wrong in the last few kilometres in these races, in these World Championships. Can hardly contain Mike Simon in this race. It's one of the best World Championships I have ever had the pleasure of commentating on. Volkler goes through the right-hander with Sorensen on his wheel. Nicky Sorensen, a domestique who has ridden for so many champions. I remember sitting with him on the team bus of CSC in 2008 towards the end of the Tour de France, of which Carlos Sastre won, and he was just staring into the distance because this man gives absolutely everything for the rest of his team. And now he's at the front of the World Road Race Championships in Denmark, in his home country, as Hoogeland tries one more time to inject a little bit more pace up this climb. Right across the road behind them, here come the cavalry. These 4 riders are going to get caught, but then it's about containing the run into the finish. Remember, we've got some swooping right-handers, and that's going to be pretty dangerous. Right on the back of the group there, Ben King of the United States. Now another attack as Volkler goes again. Look at this, he's giving it one last shout as he stamps on the pedals. He refuses to give in. Volkler trying to open up a few more seconds, hands in the middle of the bars, and being chased down by Bradley Wiggins. Volkler freewheels, he gives in and says, right, okay, fair play guys, that's it, I don't have anything left. And now look at the front of this race. Bradley Wiggins, mouth wide open. The Italians move up on the left-hand side of the picture in the Azzurri blue. The Australians surfing Matthew Goss onto the wheel of Mark Cavendish. And they have a train of about 5 or 6 riders. They've had a remote control ride all the way today, through the next right-hander, over the bridge. In a few moments, through safely, right on the back of the group, the Irish jersey as Wiggins looks around, and then the Italians move up on the right-hand side. 6 kilometres till we will know who the world champion is. The Australians look defiant behind the British train as they move over to the right-hand side. It's going to be Wiggins, Stannard, Thomas and Cavendish as they head towards the finish. How many times have these guys ridden around a velodrome together? And then Stannard is desperately trying to bring things through. Geraint Thomas goes up, they bump and barge Cavendish out the way. The Aussies are playing a little bit of tactical game here as Cavendish is totally squeezed out. Here come the Australians, who have washed away the British. Geraint Thomas now trying to lead Cavendish through, but the Aussies have got this absolutely perfect. They have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 riders at the front. Well, they haven't had to do anything all day. They've mixed things up a little bit when they've had to. But who is now going to win this World Championship title? Matthew Goss is going to go head-to-head with his current teammate Mark Cavendish. And Gossi will want this one desperately. He's not called Harley as his middle name for nothing. 3 kilometres to go to the finish. It's getting really, really dangerous in there now, as Denmark move up on the outside as well. Here come the French, and now another move on the right. The pace has completely gone out of the front of this race now, and that's why so many riders are able to move up. Through the trees, the helicopter shot as riders, the dangerous part is getting through this final right-hander, and that could put paid to many riders' chances, as O'Grady talks to the troops on the front. Here come more riders. And the Aussies don't have the speed at the front to keep this one going. Here come the Americans with Tyler Farrar. Farrar is brought to the front in the red, white and blue, the stars and stripes. And still, Geraint Thomas looks for Mark Cavendish. They've been washed away a little bit. Here come the Germans. The Germans move up with Degenkolb and Greipel. Greipel fancies this one. Whoa, what a finish through this narrow roundabout. And not far now to go to the finish of the World Championships. 2 kilometres to go. Just notice Romain Fayou, who will bump and barge and use his elbows and use his shoulders and everything else he needs to win the world title. Bosenhagen is in the string. The Aussies move up on the right-hand side. Farrar is there. The Italians are looking for him. The Spaniards move up with Juan Antonio Flecha and Oscar Freire. It's so compact in here as Great Britain move up on the right-hand side. Geraint Thomas is going with Mark Cavendish, who squeezes through. Doesn't make it. Those barriers are so tight. Stannard is desperately trying to bring Cavendish through. This is really, really dicey. Here comes Geraint Thomas. Juan Antonio Flecha is dying on the front. He doesn't have the legs. Cavendish now on the wheel of, I think, Matthew Goss. As another movement happens, and Cavendish bumps and barges a little bit. Stannard out of the saddle, trying to keep the pace up because there's too many riders in with a chance. Thomas is looking round here, and Cavendish hasn't got the wheel safely through the corner. Is everybody there? They are. Whoa, look at this. And now it's about the finish. Who is going to win the World Championship? Thomas moves up on the right-hand side. This is going to be an unbelievable finish of this World Road Race Championships. Cavendish is on the wheel of Matthew Goss. When are they going to leave it to? The Australians leading out. Cavendish is on the wheel of Matt Goss as they swing all over the place now. Here goes the sprint. Tyler Farrar is up there. Geraint Thomas. Cavendish looks across. They're leaving it so late now. They're all getting washed away. As now the lead-out train of Goss starts. They're bumping and barging in here. It's boxed in. Cavendish is working his way through as they all look round. Who's going to win the world title? They're all across the road. They're leaving it late. Cavendish goes now. Mark Cavendish goes for the World Championship. Right in the middle with Bosenhagen. Cavendish goes. Cavendish is the world champion. Mark Cavendish wins the World Road Race Championships for Great Britain. Oh, what a ride from Great Britain. Mark Cavendish is the World Road Race Champion, and he goes absolutely nuts. What a perfect result after Great Britain absolutely showed the rest of the world what a strong nation they are. Mark Cavendish, the green jersey in the Tour de France, 20 stage wins in the Tour de France. Mark Cavendish is the World Road Race Champion of 2011. What a win! The entire team rode a team time trial on the front of this race. And just when it looked like they might have got it wrong with the lead-out train of the Australians, Cavendish wins. Matthew Goss is second. Fabian Cancellara, I think, is in third place. It's a first place for Great Britain, a second place for Australia, and I think it was Cancellara. Wow.
You'll see my sorrow.
The other riders are in
And
the
if you
mix,
care
certainly
when
Greipel, Rowlands, Fayou,
just,
Bosenhagen, Frere.
I
Here's
don't
the
think
sprint.
it's just
Look at this, it's so tight in there. Cavendish goes for the wheel of Matt Goss. He's just waiting. Then he looks across, then he attacks. He thinks, right, I've got to go. Gilbert is closed off by Matt Goss, I think, who's bumped and barged all over the place. Cancellara's there. Cancellara in the middle, I think he got it, but Cavendish wins and Goss nearly gets him. Fabian Cancellara takes the bronze medal in the World Road Race Championships, but the world champion is Mark Cavendish. Jürgen Rollins is the Belgian, but look at that. Let's all get our breath back. What a finish. The two teammates at HTC, Matt Goss and Mark Cavendish, take the gold and silver medal. Actually, now we're being told that the photograph says that Greipel got third place and Cancellara was in fourth. Just checking the rest of the results. We'll get her up on the screen shortly, but we're now being told it's Cavendish, Goss, Greipel, Cancellara, Rowlands and Fayou. Goss by less than a wheel in second place. That's a dead heat, surely. Look at that, Greipel and Cancellara. So here's the replay. The Australians, what a brilliant job they did in leading Matt Goss out. The move started to happen. Cavendish looks across. Goss tries to go with him and kind of gets held up a little bit by, I think, Bozic. But Cavendish, even on this long incline, still has the legs. Is the World Championship jersey, which will be presented to Mark Cavendish.
Do you know what happened 46 years ago in Spain?
In San Sebastian.
Here he is.
It was the last time a British rider won Tom Simpson.
And now it's your day.
There couldn't be another result after the way the guys rode today. We had 8 guys, 8 of the best guys in the world, and it's the first time we've come together. And it's incredible. They took the race on from start to finish, and we won. I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
So did you feel from the start this morning in Copenhagen it could be the best chance for you to become world champion?
We knew 3 years ago when this course was announced, we put a plan together to come with the best group of guys to this race and come away and bring the rainbow jersey back to Britain. It's been 3 years in the making. The guys have worked so hard to collect points throughout the season to get 8 riders here. And then you just saw they rode incredible. I'm so proud.
And what are you thinking if I'm saying now London 2012?
We haven't got 8 guys there, we've only got 5 obviously, but it's a big goal for us. It's the biggest goal next year, and hopefully we can make the double with this year and then the Olympics next year.
Cycling is now a very, very popular sport in the UK, also thanks to you.
Yeah, thanks to me and thanks to the other 7 guys here and the other guys who worked hard all season to get points and worked hard towards getting this rainbow jersey, you know. We've got a lot of Pro Tour riders now, got a lot of people riding the bikes, and that's incredible to see.
Thank you, Mark Cavendish, world champion 2011 in Rotterdam, Copenhagen.
As we see Mark Cavendish powering his way towards the line on the left-hand side of the picture there. The familiar style of the Max missile powers his way across the line to take the World Championship. He gave you a little bit of an insight there as to what has been happening in terms of him trying to win this World Championship. His coach, Rod Illingworth, 3 years ago looked at this course, and since then Great Britain has had a project called Project Rainbow Jersey, and it's all been about bringing home the rainbow bands to Great Britain. The only other British rider, of course, who has worn that jersey was Tom Simpson in 1965. Well, there's the confirmed result after 5 hours, 40 minutes and 27 seconds of racing. Mark Cavendish of Great Britain is the 2011 World Road Race Champion. Matthew Goss, a great performance from the Australians today, takes 2nd place. Andre Greipel takes the bronze, just ahead of Fabian Cancellara of Switzerland. A massive crowd here in Rudisdal.
World Championships for elite men.
Sejrsceremonien går til verdensmesterskaber på landevej. Elitevendernes linjeløb.
In 3rd place and winner of the bronze medal, Andre Greipel of Germany.
Well, the bronze medal goes to Andre Greipel of Germany.
Presenting our medals.
3 sprinters from HTC. There's Petter, Mark Cavendish's girlfriend, who about 4 hours ago popped into the commentary box to say hello and looked very, very nervous about the possibility of Cavendish winning the world title.
In 2nd place and winner of the silver medal, Matthew Goss.
The silver medal goes to Matt Goss of Australia. He couldn't have done any more. A great performance from him.
In 1st place, the world champion of the event, Mark Cavendish of Great Britain.
Mark Cavendish is the World Road Race Champion, the first Briton to wear the coveted rainbow bands since 1965. With London 2012 on the horizon, Britain has a world champion. I don't think he can quite believe it. It was an unbelievable performance from Great Britain. They were impressive
Please take the podium.
beyond doubt. Every single one of the British squad riding on the front for pretty much the entire race.
Ja, så kommer I meget Robert Frederiksen skal over og række blomsterne. Så de kommer lige blomster her.
There's the podium. Greipel, Matthew Goss and Mark Cavendish.
Well, we have had a particularly, well, both Hungarian riders out of the race here.
That's the whole team gone.
We've had a particularly exciting World Cup season with the 9 different winners in 9 different races. With, if you're being a bit picky about it, Chantal Blaak has won 2 of them because she was part of Specialized Lululemon in Sweden. But 9 different winners altogether. It shows that women's cycling is not only about Marianne Vos anymore. There is so many other fantastic riders here.
It's been a terrific year for the women, without doubt.
Crazy.
And here's another new name for us, seeing Spieler Kern out on the attack now. She's bringing ahead just for the moment.
It's indeed a good stage. Would be with great to think it, but I was there for starting really getting the information, so I would be nothing. Yes. With the new previous round, when he had not about 50 or 60 minutes before.
Good tempo riding in front again. Now, I'm not going to allow Spieler Kern too much of a lead, I don't think, as they go out on this 4th circuit, halfway around it now.
Quite slow, like was easy. I could save myself with the shots.
There's Roxanne Kneteman out of the race. She was also the first one to get dropped in the team time trial.
Yeah.
And she's not happy. Her mother is set up beside us. She has been in the entire week on this same spot, watching all the racing, whether it's her own daughter or not. 10 years ago, Roxanne lost her father.
Well, we're giving her 40 seconds from the race, just at the minute. Spieler Kern. That's the biggest we've had so far.
Here's Stevens. Still there at the back of the pack.
And still no real chase on here to bring her back. It'll be decision time soon, though. They don't want to give her too much of a lead on this course. 63 kilometres out. Peloton has shriveled up to around about 70 women here. Swinging up the road. Coming up towards the top of the middle door pile again. Okay, still keeps at it, plugging away. Catch me if you can. It's up to 9 seconds now. Our clock always seems to be slightly at variance with the race referee's timing. I suspect that our clock is a little bit more accurate. This is where we are now. We're heading up to the 8% sections of the climb of Confederation. Average gradient 3.3%. You'll find that most of the women are riding on the front chain wheels on these climbs. And there's a rider from Great Britain just crashed down there.
Ooh.
It's a bike on the floor. This is the Canadian team. They've lost all of their riders bar one. And
oh, this is Elena Cecchini.
the British girl, I think.
Oh.
Well, this is difficult. This is Cecchini, Elena Cecchini, and I think the British girl got straight back on a bike and is gone. We may be able to see something more here.
This is very unlikely places to crash.
This is happening all of the time. There is the British girl, and it is Annie Last on the left. She got up pretty quickly, and she jumped straight onto her bike.
Very young rider for Team GB, Annie Last. And Elena Cecchini taking a little bit more time to get on the bike. She won the junior, or the young rider classification in the World Cup. Was on the podium in Chongming Island, which is a sprinter race in China, where Kirsten Wild won it ahead of Cecchini then and Giorgio Bronzini.
Well, they should both rejoin. Now, I think we picked up, while we're watching all that, the Slovenian girl Kern.
We did, and the Dutch riders are putting some pressure on there. Lizzie Armistead coming to the front.
That's number 40. There's Anna Christian down there as well.
And Evelyn Stevens from the back of the peloton now. She's all the way at the front. Also, Tatiana Ryabchenko. Speaking of Chongming Island, she won that race in 2013. She was leading in an attack when the entire peloton was diverted in the wrong way. That's how she won that World Cup event. It was a setup, Phil. They did agree on this, and now it's a flurry of attacks going on. Will we finally have a race on our hands? Chantal Blaak coming there at the right side of the road. We haven't seen much of Marianne Vos so far.
Well, we don't know about her form even before she was involved in that second lap crash. Now Powers has gone straight through the pack. That was her job done, to try and create this kind of a reaction in favour of her team. She's gone right out the back. She's the woman in the far distance there.
Looks like Katarzyna Niewiadoma from Poland, but I'm not completely sure. Oh, well, this is how easy it can happen.
Not clever.
Solovay is still there. She said in a press conference that riding in the Ukraine is absolutely very difficult at the moment. There's no funding. She cannot ride abroad. She cannot ride any races abroad because there's absolutely no money in the Ukraine. And moreover, there's a war going on. And we have rain.
There is.
Oh my.
It looks like we do have rain out on the back of the circuit. They're nearer that black cloud than we are down here at the finish, but it's exactly what they forecast on the last two laps, and this would turn the descent into a skid pan, as it's just wetting the surface at the moment for these riders.
And look at how small this group is now becoming.
29 kilometers to go. Next time check will be at the top of the Mirador climb for us, but there's only 68 riders left in the whole spread of the race here now, and at this peloton a lot fewer than that. Looks as though the rain started out there a little while ago.
Yeah, there's already some water down on the roads, which is not good. I have seen my fair share of crashes today. I don't want any more carnage going on.
Well, they're going to face a very nervous last two laps if this rain continues, with the two very tricky descents to claim the riders throughout the week on dry roads.
And the Willemsen is the New Zealand rider up front. And she's doing a pretty solid job there.
There's 60 riders down in that pack. And an attack again. This is another attack by Great Britain here.
Oh, look at how wet the roads are here.
Absolutely raining. The rain does come down heavily when it starts, and it started to come really heavily now.
All the way up the front is Lucinda Brandt. She is a master technician. She is very good on the bike, can go downhill like a rocket. It's very good steering capabilities. So this might be a good race for her. She might pull a ploué, as I call it. So she says herself that she's not going to do that. She's not going to jeopardize the chances of Marianne Vos. But how good is Marianne Vos? We had doubts before the race, and then she went down as well earlier on. It's all a waiting game at the moment.
She's gambling just now. She's up near the front, but she's still not doing any pushing of the pace. And it looks to me as though we might be just riding out of that shower on that part of the course.
Attacked by a Team GB rider on the right side of the road.
Well, this is now the 1-2 from GB. They're all trying to soften the race.
No, of course not.
No, she's gone.
She's gone. I saw an Orica AIS helmet and I hoped it was, but it's not. It's Hannah Barnes for Team GB.
Looks over her shoulder. No reaction, but Aquian said that was an illusion because those roads are absolutely soaking here. And the weather itself, this is a new challenge for the women now. 28 kilometers.
This is Sari Saralainen, one of the two Finnish riders.
Going up to the rise in the distance.
Well, it's not the rise that's bothering me, it's more the descent that is
Absolutely. But
giving me a little bit of sweaty hands here.
It's here every lap where the riders in the men's race attacked and split the field, and the women are doing the same.
This is Anna Solovey. Looks like it.
She's the rider from the Ukraine. Absolutely miserable.
Followed by
miserable conditions here. Well, they're saying this is Tatiana Ryabchenko from the Ukraine. Same team as Solovey.
Oh, well, they're both still in this peloton.
Yeah.
Both Ukraine riders.
No, not surprisingly, the race officials shooing away all of the vehicles in front of the race because of the rain now. And what could happen on the way down as we push on towards the top of Confederation. This is Australia gritting their teeth. I think it's Australia. Can't quite see. Yes, it is.
Australia,
yes.
absolutely.
Well, I'm not sure, but this looks to me like it is Rachel Neely.
I am thinking the exact same thing.
She's put the move in here. The woman who won the silver medal 2 years ago when she last rode these championships and it's been confirmed now. It is Rachel Neylin who's put in the move for Australia, gritting her teeth and jumping clear as conditions are getting quite bad. Now she won't, even though she got the silver medal a couple of years ago, she won't be totally marked by the favourites, but she's certainly too dangerous to allow to run. Rachel Neylin gritted her teeth there, kicked in the rain. 26 now. This is the little tricky bit as we make our twist and turn through the chicanes, down to the dam again. And that right-hand corner, which has proved treacherous enough to a few riders when it's been totally dry. And it looks as though Rachel is respecting the road surface there, and so too the peloton. This is the penultimate lap of the Elite Women's Road Race Championship of the world. And it's the Australian Rachel Neylin. She rode a brilliant World Championships when she finished second 2 years ago. It was a surprise then, but the way she rode it, it shouldn't have been. She was very, very good. Over the Kouberg, which is a famous hill in the Little Switzerland sector of the Netherlands, down Valkenburg. Now we're coming up to that right-hander. Caution, the watchword.
Of course, she is with the Australian Institute of Sports now.
Peloton coming around that same corner now. They all need to exercise caution here. Lean that bike over just a little bit too far, it'll slide away. Well, I guess that's why our camera's stuck there, to make sure everybody's safely around. It looks like they are now as they go across the dam and heading on towards the climb up at Mirador. And that'll bring us then over to the finish again, and then the bell. Still a lot of riders in contention. Nayland trying to draw the sting, perhaps in favour of Tiff Cromwell, because she said she was very happy to be in the team and to be a team player. This could be a great move. Now she continues to drive on. Just got the climb of the Mirador. It's a lovely springboard if you can get a few seconds up it. As they drop down to the other side, into the last kilometre and a half. Peloton a little bit ragged at the tail now. Fractured her 12 pelvis on 2 occasions the year after she got that silver medal, and now she's fighting her way back in big time. She used to be a pretty good hurdler and a rower before she started racing a bike back in 2007.
Pretty happy to be back with the Australian Institute of Sports and head coach Martin Barris. And it shows that the Australian National Cycling Federation have confidence in her, and she proves that they were justly so. Great move, bold move I must say, but great move, and the chasing is now not up to the Australians, so that leaves Tiffany Cromwell in a good position, trying to take as much recovery as she can possibly get in that peloton. So she has to do absolutely no work. It's down to the Italians, it's down to the Dutch as well.
And the British, who appear to have at least 2 women there, able to ride with Lizzie Armitstead. Back to the action here, inside 5 kilometres to the end of the circuit, and then out onto the final lap. This hurts, but she's got to keep the pressure on. Nearly over the top here, keep going. I reckon those 2 gentlemen shouted to her in English the way she reacted.
Well, you can almost see lactic acid coming out of her ear. She is hurting badly here. Marianne Vos is there. Marianne Vos is there with Bronzini, with Ratto.
Lichtenberg,
there she is.
Johansson.
All the riders. And Shelley Olds. Shelley Olds is a very dangerous rider to take to the line. For Poland, it is Katarzyna Niewiadoma in this group, the rider for Rabo Liv. And Rossella Ratto. Then we see
Black, Ratto, they were the 2 to launch the attack. Nayland in the mix again, and there she is.
Here they are. Rachel Nyland, Rossella Ratto, Katarzyna Niewiadoma, Chantal Blaak. 4 riders. Is it Lizzie Armitstead bridging? No, it's not.
No.
She's in that main group. Let's see who is bridging. Might be Claudia Lichtenberg for Germany.
I'm pretty certain
Yep, there she is.
Lichtenberg comes across.
You might know her as Claudia Hausler. She recently got married this year.
And the Polish woman in that break, Katarzyna Niewiadoma, she was involved in the accident.
Very young rider, very promising young climber. They sure scout them well at the Dutch team.
Well, the pressure is really on now as they came round and past that hotel again, heading out towards the last approach towards Confederation. Chantal Blaak piling the pressure on here. It's going to be a fight to the death on the climb, going up this time, that's for sure. Lichtenberg is the German who just tagged on the back.
Only
Niewiadoma here in 2nd place.
Only 90 years young, the Polish rider, very promising young star, scouted by Rabobank Liv. Rossella Ratto, of course, she won the stage to Bedford in the French Live Women's Tour in pouring, absolutely appalling weather. And she did well, keeping off the chasing peloton there.
That might be the situation when they get back out on the climb here. Still as we look back here, Neyland was the one that started it all, number 63, Lichtenberg on the left was the last to join. Ratto is taking them around the corner, followed by Chantal Blaak, who was part of the team time trial, and this is a crucial moment now, and the referees, I can tell you, are screaming at the motorcycles who are going to have to leave this gap alone.
Of course, Rachel Nyland already gave a lot of energy in that solo attack she did before, so it's pretty good that she's still in this group. But Rossella Ratto is giving a good impression here for the Italians. So Chantal Blaak, not even a month ago, just a month ago, she won the World Cup in Sweden. And that World Time Trial title, Team Time Trial title, gave her wings, gave her a lot of confidence. Comes from the West Country near Rotterdam. So we have about 36 minus 3, 33 riders in this group.
Well, I'm not too sure, we haven't swept them all up. Our cameras went to the back there, and I've got a feeling we're looking at the whole race here.
And now we have a discussion between the Germans.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? Lucy Armitstead there.
Now, for the first time, we get a real feeling of this climb here, 10% at this point.
Janne Vos is there with Ellen van Dijk on a wheel. Michael Polspoel for Belgium. Yuko Hagiwara.
Riders.
Oh, it's the other Japanese rider again. I'm sorry. Linda Willemsen is just looking like she's doing a little cyclo-sportive there.
She's looking very calm on the left. She's the woman in the black colours of New Zealand. Not looking under pressure at all just now.
Of course, she's all on her own here in this group, but she has been at the front the entire race.
He is. We hover above Le Fort du Sapy.
Fortified complex that was built purely for a defensive mechanism. This has itself standing at around about 1,700 metres above sea level. It was built in the late 1800s.
Yep, your heart sinks when you just get to the back of the peloton. You see the sign that says start of the climb, 3.1 kilometres to the top, and it completely strung out like a long snake in front of you, and the pace on. 21 seconds now, the gap to this front group. Aru still trying to get his way across.
I wonder what the emotional response will be from Dan Martin to this attack from Fabio Aru.
Was that Moscon that was trying to...
Well, they're clearly trying to mark the moves. Ineos with a strategy to get themselves into a breakaway. So much support, Alaphilippe. Lots of support for the current race leader. Nibali with a sneaky look across the left shoulder to see what's happening behind.
Still holding strong, 25 seconds, and that group of four will be more comfortable on the climb than they were on the flat. Exceptional climbers who have made it into the front group. And this is going to split now. This will become a big group if they can push this on. Aru, Woods, Bardet, Jack Haig has made it into the move at the moment, and it is splitting behind them.
And it's splitting at the back. This is Calvajat now who's been distanced. He'll have plenty of company pretty soon.
See Michael Matthews in the background.
Galopin at the front trying to force the breakaway for Roman Bardet.
Stephen Krosak has followed this move. He is really quite close to the front. So there'll be a reaction to that. They will not want to let this group go because Krosak is up there. George Bennett as well, I spotted. And then Bobby Starr, they're shutting it down. Little cracks and splits all the way down the group.
And Simon Yates was near the front as well from the Brisbane Scott.
Tailwind up the climb. They're perfect for these four.
It's down to 17 seconds because of that reaction. But they're steady. This is gas on, gas off. As the French champion, affectionately known as Wawa, Warren Barguil is the next to go, followed by Galopin.
But Tony Galopin really struggled in the early part of this tour with the injuries he sustained from a crash in the French Championship. He's starting to come back into form.
He looked so sore in the first week. I grimaced watching him. I felt uncomfortable watching him.
It was a big call to even start him in the tour, wasn't it?
It's impressive that he's gotten through that first phase and now he's riding this strongly at the back end. Well done, Tony Galopin.
Fabio Aru once again, the white colours behind them. Flick at the elbow from Warren Barguil. Galopin wants the polka dot jersey to be with him. The big K on the move now. That is Ilmar Zakarin. Well, he's on the move. No, he's just rejoining. That's the split near the front.
Yeah, this was the attack that was going at the bottom of the climb, and it did split, but there were some highly placed riders in there. And I saw Kerslake following the wheels. So that forced the reaction of the rest of the favourites to shut it down.
Galopin, Barguil, just a small advantage over Fabio Aru. He looks over his shoulder, and once again, he'll see Michael Woods breathing down his neck.
Now another small gap opening up, so rider on the front of the main peloton, just letting the wheel go, swinging across, trying to create, or help to create that breakaway.
Trying to, at the back, number 95, that's Sebastian Langeveld. He's second last overall.
And that was Michael Hepburn, who was just in front of him.
Also going back, Gonçalves. This is Pascalon. In fact, this is Van Melson from Wanty Group Goubert. Now, it went down to 17 seconds. It's been inconsistent with the chase, but out front they've been rock solid, and they're all fully committed as if it's a four-man team time trial. It's back out to 21.
A bit like we spoke about with how Quintana rode the Gillibeer yesterday, steady state effort from bottom to top, as opposed to attacks coming thick and fast, really intense into the red zone, but then you need to back off. So they're taking one step forward, two steps back in the chase group behind our leading four.
And behind that move from Warren Barguil, I did note the black and yellow colours of Jumbo-Visma. They've got their strategy to try and put a rider out in front. 1 kilometre to the top of this Category 3 climb.
Bilbao swings across, he looks over the shoulder, a lot of checking behind from these four. Vincenzo Nibali staying cool as ever, just keep tapping out the rhythm.
Still more than 3,000 metres worth of climbing to go.
And he knows if he just keeps riding right at his limit, the gap has got to open back up. Surely the favourites, who are the only one who really could close it, are not just going to ride across this gap.
Groenewegen in the yellow colours at the back. Andre Greipel in the white colours. The sprinters aiming to survive. Even Sergio Anau is back here, number 93. That is Simon Clark.
Mike Turnison up the front of this little part of the group, just behind a split. In the group up in front of that, Greg Van Avermaet is there, Niels Pollitt. Is Julien Alaphilippe with Geraint Thomas right on his wheel, and next to him is Thibaut Pinot, the favourites, all stuck together at the moment.
And importantly, just in front of the yellow jersey, he had Enric Mas looking really comfortable, setting up, adjusting his jersey. One more teammate there for De Koning Quickstep. Couldn't see who it was, but I would assume that it was Dries Devenants. Guess who again?
Oh yeah, you could say it without looking at the screen. It said there's a Movistar rider, Soler with Wellens. Postelberger or Mulberger?
No, that's Patrick Conrad, the
Conrad. Oh, there's three of them, and I reckon they're triplets.
This is Rudy.
Forget the Yates twins.
They're hard to pick. Rudy Millar going backwards there for Group Armour FDJ. Just hearing on race radio, Caleb Ewan being dropped. In fact, here he is. Well, Caleb Ewan is in a really good position in the context of this stage, Robbie.
This is very good. I mean, what you've really got to do is just ride at your limit and hope you end up in a decent group. He's got teammates with him, and they just have to ride to their own limit for what they can manage for the next 100 kilometres in the mountains.
They're almost at the top of the climb. Dan Martin leading through. They're not worried about the 2 points for the top of this climb. They're just trying to maintain their advantage. It's Bilbao in second position. Nibali in third spot. Harada just holding on at the back. Martin leads them over the top. If you were in Caleb Ewan's position at the moment, would you be happy with that?
Well, you're not quite. Well, you'd be happy that you've only just been dropped now.
Yes,
rather
that's my
than
point.
Dropped at the kilometre 0.3, where some riders were already in trouble. And having only just been dropped, it's feasible he could descend his way back onto a much larger group that may be able to drag themselves back up to the peloton, but still plenty of racing to come to get themselves into the break of the day. And the problem is, it's a short descent, a little bit of valley road which drags up, basically you're on the lower slopes of the next climb, the Category 2, the Monte de Ossois. A 6.5 kilometre climb at 6%.
These are some of the riders that have been dropped from the yellow jersey group. One of them is number 22, Casper Asgreen, and he is all in to make sure he returns to support the yellow jersey. What about the rider in last position?
Yeah, Jasper de Boost, he was in the break yesterday. He's the lead-out man for Caleb Ewan. He's been riding a really good tour, supporting Caleb. And at the back end of the tour, he's riding as if he's really fresh.
He was in the break yesterday and got to witness the yellow jersey battle on the Col de Galibier.
Well, he's much more a sprinter than he is anything else, and he's got himself in the break yesterday, still in the group now, so really well done to de Boost. We'll see groups flying down on the left of screen, scrambling to rejoin.
And as you've told us throughout this year's tour, the race organisers, they've formed the barrage. They're not letting those team cars go past, which, if there's a mechanical problem at the front, can cause an even bigger problem, as Jesus Herrada is having trouble keeping up with the descending skills of his three breakaway companions.
Yep, the other three fairly evenly matched, and Herrada struggling. Oh, he didn't quite time the bunny hop onto the bridge very well either.
It's a phenomenal atmosphere on the side of the road to the front, particularly in the high mountains, with the long wait for the peloton to arrive. And I saw some images yesterday of a Dutch group leading a big sing-along at the top of the Col de Galibier, where there was the sign for free loop road. This race continues to sprint. The yellow jersey here, Julian Alaphilippe sits just behind the Nicholson Scott rider, Adam Yates. As you might look at the picking up, Patrick Conrad comes through, checking the whereabouts perhaps of the name of Wolfman from Paula Hansgrohe. Movistar there also with Marc Soler. This race is being torn to shreds by the tempo of the front at leading four. They still hold on to a significant advantage in the context of this stage, just 44 seconds in the yellow jersey group, but there is a split. And 19 riders that find themselves at 25 seconds behind includes Rigoberto Urán. Rigoberto Urán, having started the stage in 9th position overall at 5 minutes and 33 seconds down. This is Marc Soler now coming through to the front, followed by Alexei Lutsenko. Next in line is Mollema, then it's Caruso who's in the break yesterday. This is Peter Sagan, he's back with the yellow jersey group. Bookman is there, there's the yellow jersey, followed by Thibaut Pinot. But Julian Alaphilippe, Robbie, he's limited for teammates. Number 22 comes by, that's Casper Asgreen. He's going to be important for the next 50 kilometres.
It'll be incredibly important, and it'll start to be a little bit of panic stations. But what Alaphilippe has done so well so far in this tour is not panicked. You've got Urán up the front. You've got riders who can really become a danger by getting in a breakaway. But Alaphilippe, his team, they do what they can, but they don't panic, and they wait for the others to panic first.
Look at all the yellow helmets in this group. The yellow helmets of the Movistar team. There's 3 of them, and it includes
Landa?
Alejandro Valverde. Valverde is in that group. He sits in 10th place overall at 5 minutes and 58 seconds down. That is a dangerous group.
Because I was trying to spot Landa in the group of the yellow jersey. I wasn't able to do that yet. And with all those light blue jerseys, yellow helmets buzzing up the road, it'd be easy to lose track of where Landa is.
What's happening with Thibaut Pinot?
This is a problem.
This is for the Frenchman,